mic is hot. If you're gonna drink the water, you gotta pour it into the Gatorade cup. The Gatorade can't have, yeah, you can't have logos, so just pour that into the Gatorade cup. Yep, it is. We just did all of that. We switched them out. And like I said, we're gonna start right at 10 straight up. We got about a minute, and then we'll just start with questions, and your moderator for the city, so she'll take care of it. All right, Cody, you ready? Come on down.
Hey, Coach. Good morning. How are you?
Morning. How you doing?
Good. Let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and let's start with Jonathan Scott.
Okay. How you doing, Jonathan?
Well, hold on one second. I don't have the capabilities to unmute.
Okay.
Here we go. Go ahead, Jonathan.
Thank you. Good morning, Coach. How are you doing?
Good morning. How you doing?
Not too bad. Thank you for asking. What do you think is the biggest challenge or hurdle that you faced in this preparation for this year's Super Bowl compared to last year's?
You know what? One of the biggest things is just making sure that we don't take this opportunity for granted. One thing that, in preparing, you just want to make sure that we're continuing to eliminate the distractions. We want to make sure that our guys are focused on the daily task. We want to make sure that we're on the same page and that we're over communicating with clarity. Then on top of that, we get our guys to come out and perform to be at their best. So far, so good. Our guys have maintained their focus. They've done a heck of a job throughout the course of the week. Going into this week, they're ready. They're excited about the challenge. And I tell you another thing, we just need to make sure that we're doing an outstanding job protecting the football. With all that said, as far as us taking care of our business, but on top of that, we got to take care of the football to give ourselves a chance.
Thank you, Coach, and happy Black History Month.
Thank you.
We'll go next to Sam Mellinger. Go ahead, Sam.
How you doing, Sam?
Good, thanks. I'll have a quick follow-up if that's all right. Eric, this is the second straight Super Bowl, right, where your sort of continued employment with the Chiefs has been a topic. You always have a smile on your face. I'm just wondering, like, where do you go to sort of deal with the frustration that I know you feel? Where do you go to deal with that and keep on keeping on?
Here's the unique part about that, Sam. I learned a long time ago to learn how to persevere through adversity. But the beauty of it is not so much that I have to persevere, because that's going to take care of itself. It's making sure that whatever is taking place with Eric Bieniemy isn't becoming a distraction and us pursuing our dreams and our goals. So one thing that you got to understand, I'm going to focus on what I need to focus on. Then it's time to turn the page. So at the end of the day, I want to make sure that our guys are ready. Okay. They're mentally prepared. They've watched all the film that they need to watch. On top of that, all right, they've gone out there, they physically put themselves in the right positions by working their tails off and applying everything that we've asked them to do to make sure that they're ready to play. That's how you get past that. You move on by making sure that we're focused on the goal. And the goal has always been to win the Super Bowl.
Okay. The other thing I wanted to ask, I know this isn't your focus right now, obviously, but are you getting any kind of constructive feedback from these teams about why they went a different direction? And are you altering your sort of presentation or interview that you do going forward?
You know what? At this particular time, I haven't had an opportunity to reach out to anyone to receive any feedback. I'll take that time after Sunday to sit back and reaching out, and then we'll just go from there. But like I said, Sam, when it's all said and done with, we got from today until Sunday, all right, till kickoff. My focus is making sure that the Kansas City Chiefs are ready to play and that we're going out there to take care of business. I'll handle Eric Bieniemy's business, okay, on Monday, sometime Monday evening or even Tuesday after I take a nap or a nice long night of sleep to start worrying about what I need to be concerned with me moving forward as far as the interviewing process went.
I hear you. Thank you.
We'll go next to Nate Davis, USA Today. Go ahead, Nate.
Hey, Eric. Along the
How you
same,
doing?
Robert Saleh said before this hiring.
I think we lost you, Nate.
Oh, hold on.
You got
Go
me now.
ahead, Nate.
You got me now.
Yes.
Yeah. Robert Saleh, EB kind of said at the beginning of this hiring cycle that the worst case scenario for him would be going back to the San Francisco 49ers as their DC, and that would be a pretty good outcome, all things considered. I just wanted to kind of ask you, obviously you're in a pretty good situation, all things considered. Is it about also for you getting the right job and what that looks like as opposed to just getting any job?
It's always about getting the right job. And you got to understand, sometimes the job and the person have to connect. So there has to be a connection. The only thing I can do is be my most authentic self. That's who I am. Okay. I can only be me. Some team has to want me. On top of that, that has to be some type of collaboration of making sure that the chemistry is a fit. So for whatever reason, that chemistry has not been a fit. There has not been that opportunity to connect, but that's okay. All right. Because at the end of the day, I have an opportunity to go out here and work with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is a great organization. I get an opportunity to work for Clark Hunt, work for Mark Donovan. We got one of the best head coaches in all of football, who's a Hall of Fame coach, in my opinion. And then on top of that, we got one of the top GMs in all of football. So I'm excited about the opportunity that has been presented to me. The other stuff, I can't control that. That is out of my control. The only thing that I can worry about is today, all right, and moving forward and what I need to do to help our guys to be at their best come Sunday.
We'll go next to Haley Lewis. Go ahead, Haley.
Hey, Coach. Good to see you. I wanted to talk to you about Sammy Watkins being back at practice on Monday, kind of how he's looking and just how big of a leader he is off the field. He's always one of those players, who talks about not caring so much about the money, not caring about the catches or the stats, but caring about his teammates and getting that another ring.
You know what? It's always good to have Sammy around. When Sammy's healthy and he's at his best, I mean, we're a much better team. And so when he's around, one thing I will say, not just Sammy, but all those guys do a great job of challenging each other. That's the thing I love and respect about that group. And that starts with Greg Lewis. Greg Lewis is a hell of a coach. Our receiver coach. He does a great job of motivating those guys. He does a great job of teaching those guys. But on top of that, and it starts at the top with Coach Reed, he allows their personalities to show. And so with that unique group of people, Sammy brings a different presence just because of his physical nature of who he is. He's always talking to those guys about certain things that he feels that can possibly help them, or vice versa, where he's taking advice from them as well. But the thing is that I love the chemistry that they have. I love the connection. And I just love the unique way that Coach Lewis and his assistant, Dave Girardi, does a great job of working with those guys, and the dynamics of that unique setup and that communication is great, because that group has helped us out tremendously.
Thanks, Coach.
We'll go next to D. Orlando Ledbetter. Go ahead.
D.
Greetings, Eric. I'm pretty sure I know where you learn to persevere at.
Oh, yeah.
But just getting ready for the game, what do you all do to offset the Tampa Bay pass rush, which we've seen get kind of riled up here in the playoffs?
You know what? Coach Todd Bowles has done a hell of a job with those guys. And you're talking about a great coach who's happened to be a great leader of men, who has a great scheme. And obviously those guys have bought into what he's doing because those guys are playing outstanding. And as we all know, regardless of what side the ball that you're on, everything starts up front. Those guys up front are doing some things. They're getting after the pass rusher. They're getting upfield. They're creating havoc in the run game. They're also creating pressure in the pass game. So one thing that we have to do, we have to neutralize their rush. We have to make sure that we're assignment sound, that we're playing assignment sound, that we're protecting and keeping the integrity of the pocket to give Pat an opportunity to step up and do what he needs to do. But on top of that, when it's all said and done with, we just got to knuckle up and go play, and play for 60 consecutive minutes. If something bad happens and the player gets beat, oh, well, that happens. We're not going to worry about that play. The only thing that matters is the next play. And we want our guys to have that focus and that temperament because we want to play this game one play at a time, but also understanding how much of a challenge it's going to be, to making sure that we can sustain that high level of play for 60 consecutive minutes.
We'll go next to Matt Baker. Go ahead, Matt.
Hey, Eric, how are you a better coach now than you were heading into this game a year ago?
Just from the experience, just knowing all the things that we need to do. I mean, it's just like last year, for the first time of going as a coach to the Super Bowl, we prepared our entire game plan last week. So having that done and having the experience of doing that, on top of that, just making sure that our guys are not playing the game over and over and over again, but also making sure that they understand the importance of maximizing the opportunity, to be at their best today and to improve at something today to helping them to play the game on Sunday. So those are the little things, just making sure that we remain poised under pressure. I will say this, it's a different dynamic due to the pandemic because we're not out there at this particular time. So now we don't have to worry about family. So it's kind of eliminated some of the distractions that normally occur throughout the Super Bowl preparation week. But there's been a number of things. The beauty of it is we take the lead of Coach Andy Reid, and he's provided the way and he's shown us the roadmap. So the thing that we want to do is make sure we stay true to course to helping us to get to Sunday where we can go out there, line up and make sure that our players are at their best come kickoff.
We'll go next to Adam Teicher. Go ahead, Adam.
Hey, Eric. Good morning. How you doing today?
Good morning, Adam. How you doing?
Good. Hey, you guys, as you know, have had to dig really deep into your offensive line depth. You lost the two guys to the opt-outs before camp. You've lost now both tackles and Osemele. How have you guys been able to piece this all together? Has that been pretty challenging? How would you put that?
You know what? It hasn't been a challenge. I'll say this, and I will continue saying this. Coach Heck does a heck of a job with those guys. Coach Heck, assistant O-line coach Corey Matei, they do a great job of creating chemistry in that room. As you know, probably just like on any team in the NFL, that O-line group is a very, very unique group. Those guys develop a great chemistry. They hang out together. Those guys are very tight. They pride themselves on over-communicating clarity because they have to communicate. But on top of that, we train our guys, all right, to make sure that they understand at any given point in time in the season, your name can be called upon to be at your best. And when that particular situation arises, all right, you have to make sure that you're ready. We never ever want any players to ever get hurt. Okay, you don't ever want that. But one thing that we do a great job of, that Coach Heck does, we do a great job of developing our O-line. All right, position flexibility means a lot. We want guys that can line up and play a number of positions, not just a left tackle or a right tackle. All right. We need guys who can go out and snap the ball, who can play guard or who can play tackle. Those are the guys that bring a tremendous amount of value to our organization. And I just think that we've done a great job of developing those guys. And that started with Veach bringing in the right people. But on top of that, you know, Coach Heck and Coach Corey Matei doing a great job of working with those guys in that room.
We'll go next to Harold Kuntz. Go ahead, Harold.
EB, how we doing this morning?
Doing good. Harold, how you doing?
I'm here. Hey, on the other sideline, you've got a situation where there's 3 coordinators, special teams, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator, all of which are African-American. I'm just curious, just your thoughts on how that has kind of developed to a point where you have 3 coordinators on a team, which you don't see often, and just your thoughts on how things have maybe progressed, even though besides your situation, how things have progressed in the NFL with coordinators of color being in the league.
Well, I mean, here we are. I mean, first of all, we're all in the Super Bowl together, so that says a lot about what we've accomplished together, you know. But one thing I will say is, I heard Todd Bowles say this last week to Peter King. He mentioned this. You don't ever want to be recognized for what you do by your race or your color. You want to be recognized in this profession by how great of a coach you are, or how much of a leader of men that you are, and how much of an influence that you can have on the people in that building that are working with you and that are working for you. So those are the things that matter. Yes, we do have 4 coordinators that's going to be participating in this Super Bowl. Only thing that just goes to show you there's 4 men who have worked their tails off, all right, that have been given an opportunity by Coach Reed and Coach Arians, okay, to show exactly who they are, what they're about, and what they can accomplish. So when it's all said and done with, why we got to keep talking about the color of these particular coordinators, when in reality, these ain't nothing but good old-fashioned ball coaches who have done a great job of being leaders of men, who obviously know exactly what they're doing, but has been provided an opportunity to do so with the head coach that they particularly work for and that organization. So it just goes to show you that there are great coaches in this league, all right? And plenty more need to be given those same opportunities and given those same windows to go through.
We'll go next to Krista Patrick. Go ahead, Krista.
Thank you. Good morning, Coach. Thank you so much for your time.
Morning.
So week 13, right after that Bucks matchup, I heard you say a couple things. One, that you believed every play was designed to score a touchdown. And 2, you were still looking for that perfect game.
Mm-hmm.
And Travis Kelce yesterday spoke about your attention to detail, as many players have. I imagine a perfect game might be a little different to you and I. That's probably a lengthy list. But what would constitute a perfect game for you for this weekend? And do you need a perfect game in order to get that second Super Bowl ring?
Well, one thing I want to say is, yes, we're always striving for perfection in order to achieve excellence. So, no, we have not played a perfect game. And a perfect game is when we can go out as an offense and score every drive, right, and play flawless. We protect the football. There's no penalties. There's no turnovers. We keep the quarterback upright. We're averaging over 4.5 yards per carry. But all that, we want to strive for that. But when it's all said and done with, we got to make sure that we're doing everything that we can, all right, to help us to win. And so I'll go backwards to go forward. In order to appreciate winning, you have to despise losing. Okay, you have to despise that feeling of what it feels like in the agony of defeat. You want to make sure throughout the course of the week of preparation that you're doing everything under the sun to make sure that your guys are getting the right information, that they understand exactly the scheme that they're going to be playing against. But on top of that, you want to make sure that those players are going out there and making the most of it by working their tails off, understanding the importance of route depth discipline. How's an O-lineman going to fit in a run scheme? So the thing is, we want to make sure that our guys are striving for perfection all week long to give us that opportunity, all right, to pursue that excellent, that excellent opportunity that we will have on game day. Because when it's all said and done with, I explain to these guys on a weekly basis. Throughout the course of the game, you may be given, regardless of what position that you play, you may be given an opportunity to be great, all right, 3 times in that particular game. The question is, have you mentally, all right, and physically prepared yourself for those defining moments? So it's our job to make sure that they're chasing that perfection and striving for it throughout the course of the week. Because come game day, that's when you maximize it and you make it happen.
Thank you, Coach.
You're welcome.
Let's go next to Therese Paler. Go ahead, Therese.
TP.
Coach Bieniemy, how you doing today, man?
Doing good. How you doing? Long time no see, bro.
Yeah. Hey, listen. I'm working hard too.
I understand, bro.
I got a 2-part question for you, though.
Yes, sir.
I know your mentality about work, right? I know that you kind of just worry about getting better every day and controlling what you can control. So I apologize if you answered this already, but I think it's important.
Mm-hmm.
How do you go about making sure that you do those things you need to do and not getting distracted from, hey, interview here, even interview here, didn't get the job? Like, how do you separate and compartmentalize those things so that you make sure that you focus on keeping the main thing? And I do have a follow-up.
Well, one thing that I've learned is to focus on the task, okay? And the task has never changed, okay? The goal has never changed. Our goals, all right, are simple. We want to win the AFC West, which we did. We want to establish home field advantage, which we did. And then we want to win the Super Bowl. So one thing, that's always our focus in this building. So my job is to make sure not only are our guys focused on it, but I also have to practice what I preach. And so within that, I mean, we've had a great deal of success here would have has placed me in a situation where I've been recognized to interview for some jobs. And so those interviews, for whatever reason, I have not been hired, and which is okay, because at the end of the day, I still have an opportunity to go out there and help our team to pursue and obtain our goal. And so, yes, there is a focal point where you're focused on that interview. But once that interview is over, now it's time to turn the page. I can't sit here and dwell in pity, because when it's all said and done with, I have a responsibility to the Kansas City Chiefs. I have a responsibility to Coach Reed. I have a responsibility to this entire offensive coaching staff and our players to make sure that we're mentally and physically ready to go come game day. But that's who I am, okay? And that's how I operate.
Gotcha. And all right, that leads me to this next thing here. Number one, is it weird for you to keep seeing your name pop up in stories all over the place? Like, I know you're not like somebody who like enjoys all that. Like, I do wonder, like, sometimes if you're like, guys, like, why does my name keep popping up? Number one. And secondly, I think it would be helpful if you kind of walk through some of the things that you've done during the off seasons, during the season to improve as a coach, improve your knowledge of the game, just keep getting better at what you do.
Well, first of all, to answer your question, no, I did not ask to be the poster boy of this particular situation that I have experienced. At the end of the day, the only thing that you want to do is be recognized for all the things that you have accomplished. And for whatever reason, that has not happened. And that's okay, because the only thing I know what to do is to go back to work and continue chopping wood, because that's who Fern Handy Marie Gibson raised, okay? You didn't know who that was. That's my mother. She raised me to make sure that I stay focused, right? And I just continue chopping wood. But when it's all said and done with, during the off season, there's a number of things that you do during the off season. You're helping yourself as a coach, where you're learning different ways on how to do things, how you approach things. On top of that, spending time talking to general managers on helping with your growth process, things that you need to be looking out for on the horizon. And then also too, just making sure that you're putting together continuing to put together your head coaching book, all the little things that you've learned throughout the course of the year and things that's going to help you moving forward. So those are a number of things. But then on top of that, you always want to continue to increase your expertise at what you do. So there's teams to study. There's things to continue to grow with, and also to study different defensive schemes that are on the horizon. So there's a number of things in which I do during the off season to help my football intellect, but also to help me to grow as a person in this industry. All right. And a part of that also too is taking some time off and spending time with my family and enjoying them as well. So I can't utilize all my time, but I will say this, my off time, I utilize it as efficiently as I can to help me as a person to grow. And then when it's all said and done with, my job is to make sure that all the knowledge and wealth that I have gained in this industry, right, I need to make sure that I'm passing this information along to the next man so he has an opportunity to climb up that ladder as well.
With that, thank you, Coach. We will see you later.
That's it?
You're done.
Oh, wow. That was fast.
Thank you for your time.
All right. Are we still live?
You are. I'll see you on the other side.
Yes, ma'am.